Good morning, everybody. It's 2:38 a.m., September 10, 2023. It's Sunday. Yes, it's early in the morning. And no, I have not gone to sleep yet. I'm going to record this for you. Never give up. This is just a little information that I located online, educateyourself.org. This is a website created by, I believe it's Mark M. Rich, okay? He wrote a book, The Hidden Evil, State-Sponsored Terror Campaign. But before I get into it, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. Welcome newcomers, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for subscribing. Please hit the notifications bell. I looked on my analytics, and even though we've got an increasing subscriber count, there's only a very small percent of you that have hit the notifications bell to receive notifications. So please remember to do that. You have to hit the little bell, and then you have to click all so that you receive the notifications. But anyway, Mark Rich wrote a book on organized vigilante stalking, and he created this website about state-sponsored terror campaign. It's dated 2006. I'll post a link to the website also, because obviously I'm not going to read the entire book for you, but I'm going to read snippets that I have found to be interesting and important. And I wrote this. The devil is in the details. Vigilante stalking, organized stalking. Imagine the state sponsoring a campaign against innocent citizens for revenge, for vigilantes, organized vigilante stalking. So, Mark wrote, let me see how many pages this book is. So I've got 82 pages in a download. It's educateyourself.org, The Hidden Evil 2006, Mark M. Rich. It's a PDF. I can post a link to it so that you can download it and read it at your leisure. There is a, let's see, what do we have here? We've got a title page, so with a preface, an introduction, describes what organized stalking is, the structure, the tactics, why it is used, and the objectives of the group. Symptoms of a person may be the symptoms that a person may experience, the results of organized vigilante stalking and mobbing, and a profile of people who participate, why they remain, mobbing and organized stalking similarities, case studies, and the bibliography. So I'm going to go through this and read little snippets for you. But first, I'm going to read his introduction here on his webpage. This document is dedicated to the known and unknown people who have been driven to suicide or have committed acts of violence as a result of being harassed by organized vigilante stalking groups. It is my goal to make their operations as visible as possible. This report is based on an online ebook located at, actually, the website is there, but it's not located there. I'm going to post a link to where you can locate it. There are many other organized stalking sites available. Some are international and multilingual. They can easily be found using the Yahoo search engine and typing in phrases such as organized stalking, gang stalking, or vigilante stalking. And you will find several sites which will offer a wealth of information on the subject. Throughout this document, I will be presenting evidence on what I believe are highly organized, covert, state-sponsored harassment campaigns being carried out on unwitting and unwilling people across North America. After reading this document, you may draw your own conclusions based on my supporting evidence. If an identifying characteristic of an individual or organization appears in any section of this report, it is presented absent any malice and is based on my opinion. There are people who will have a vested interest in discrediting me and information in this report. The information in this document will be painful to most people. Some of the information will be scary. I do not present the information for the purpose of scaring you, but it is peripheral result of explaining something this repulsive in detail. It appears the more areas of a horrific phenomenon you attempt to illuminate, the more you discover how horrifying it really is. Most information in this report is documented. The rest is my opinion. The information in this report does not necessarily represent the beliefs of any anti-organized stalking organization or other organized stalking targets. There are many websites now devoted to the topic of organized stalking. This phenomenon is not recognized by the mainstream media, the legal community, or mental health professionals. You know why? Because they're all in on it. They're all in on it. They either got the gag order, they either got the bribe, they got paid off, or they're participating. Some small talk shows such as the Grassy Knoll, the Power Hour, the Investigative Journal, and a few others have covered this topic in detail. Some true investigative reporters are subjected to this type of harassment and ridicule. He says shortly after he left his last place of employment in 2004, after experiencing a mobbing phenomenon, he began to recognize that he was the target of subtle harassment out in public as well. One such incident that took place out in public involved a lady who worked at the local human resources department at the place he just left. This harassment was consistent with the mobbing I experienced at the previous place of employment. And I dismissed these harassment skits as a coincidence because I was not aware of the existence of organized stalking groups. I could not conceive of such an idea. I had no existing model of reference to compare it to. Later, I learned that there was a name for this workplace syndrome, and even had a name when it leaked out into the community. So I'm going to scroll down here, folks. I'm going to skip to the chase. Okay, so he goes on to talk about the new Satanists, criminal acts fostered by malevolent occultism are rooted in a philosophy so alien to normal human functioning that it has to be learned through a form of psychological conditioning that mimics a descent into insanity. That is a quote by Linda Blood, who wrote a book, The New Satanists. So let me move on, folks. I'm going to skip around. So this is the website. Let me just show you. This is what it looks like. Okay. Just remember, folks, never give up. These creatures don't like to be exposed. Carry your cameras wherever you go. photograph them. You know how they drive up and photograph your driveway or your property or whatever? Well, you whip out your camera and photograph them doing that and then post it online. See how they like it. What goes around comes around, but we're going to get into karma, or what I call Karmageddon, the new word order. We're going to get into that in another video. I was going to do that tonight, but I decided to move on to this. I've got a couple of topics I want to discuss too. So I've downloaded the word, it's a PDF, educateyourself.org, The Hidden Evil, 2006, Mark M. Rich. It's PDF, 82 pages long. So let's scroll down here, folks. So I already read this portion from his website, and we're going to just move on down. Okay, so what is organized stalking? What is it? The devil is in the details. Organized stalking is well-organized, occult form of covert harassment used against an individual. It is done by large groups of people who systematically and repeatedly harass individuals. The people who participate are usually under the impression that they need to keep an eye on the targeted person or drive them out of town for wrongdoings. It often encompasses the use of directed energy weapons, also known as DEW, D-E-W, such as microwave harassment, and this can be for hire organized harassment to service. For hire meaning revenge for hire. These groups operate through North America and Europe and exhibit cult-like characteristics. Cult, C-U-L-T. They usually have local numbers ranging in the hundreds. This has also been called cause stalking, gang stalking, community-based harassment, organized vigilante stalking, vengeance stalking. I don't know if I can say the word, the T stalking, revenge stalking, covert action, state-sponsored harassment, microwave mind control, etc. All of these labels explain the same basic phenomenon. So when he refers to this type of state-sponsored harassment through the document, he will use these names interchangeably. The hate crime appears to be a combination of early mind control and harassment programs such as COINTELPRO and MKUltra, as well as gang stalking techniques used by the KKK. The objective is to create so much pain in the environment of the person that they are driven to homelessness or suicide. It is used to isolate and remove economical and social support structures and therefore destabilize a person's life with the intent to drive them to suicide. Basically, it's forever. They never leave you alone. You're followed out of the country, and there is no way to get away from it. Although it would appear that this is a new phenomenon, it's not. Many tyrannical regimes throughout history have used local harassment gangs to neutralize dissent. Gang stalking is simply another manifestation of this pattern. Although the strategy and tactics employed by these groups are somewhat new, the groups exist to serve the same purpose, and I'll explain this in more detail later. Because most counseling centers and therapists deny the existence of these groups, it is impossible to prove just how many cases of depression, anxiety, miscarriage, stillbirths, suicides, and people going postal, quote-unquote, are caused by them. This is further complicated since many people are unaware that they're a host to this type of parasite. Julian McKinney is a former Army intelligence officer and publisher of the widely respected report, Microwave Harassment and Mind Control Experimentation. She is the former director of the Electronic Surveillance Project Association of National Security Alumni, which was an organization composed of former intelligence officers dedicated to exposing excesses by the U.S. Intelligence Service. She kept this organization operational for 4 years using her personal funds. She has about 40 years' experience in this subject and is skilled with and interviewed hundreds of targeted people. And I posted a video about her after she passed away on my channel. I think you could search for her name. The psychological aspect of gang stalking is identical to mobbing. It has the same group dynamics, and for that reason, I'll make references to mobbing throughout this document. I will also explain these shared dynamics later in the document. The mobbing phenomenon has been well documented and studied in other countries for years. However, it is only now beginning to receive attention in North America. When I speak of mobbing, I'm not talking about flash mobbing, where hundreds of strangers will communicate via their cell phone or email to meet at a public place to perform a synchronized act. The mobbing I'm referring to is committed by multiple people using subtle but repeated harassment, which takes place in the workplace and is difficult to prove. It is used to kick a person out of the workplace while leaving little trace. The logic is that it is less of a liability for the organization if you voluntarily, quote unquote, leave. Voluntarily leave. Let's see, the logic, if you voluntarily leave, then if they fire you, wait, I'm misunderstanding this, 1 second here. In addition, some organizations with sadistic intentions enjoy it as a form of sport harassment as well. So their primary intent might not be to drive a person out of the workplace. Okay, so there are multiple reasons why these tactics are being used, and some are for sadistic pleasure, while some really want to just drive the person out because of some slander or defamation campaign that was launched against the individual. For an excellent explanation of how groups of people will not only turn against an individual, but will participate in the repeated harassment and ultimate destruction of an individual to ensure their own survival, read the book Mobbing. While researching the mobbing phenomenon, authors discovered that it also took place out in the community. However, when this type of organized harassment occurs out in public, many of those are unaware. They're unaware of it and refer to it as the labels previously mentioned. For now, you can think of mobbing as a small-scale gang stalking, which takes place indoors. Okay, so there's the difference between what takes place outdoors and indoors. There are several online documents pertaining to subliminal and covert harassment. Although I believe the sources of these documents are dubious and they lack supporting documentation, some of their tactics are consistent with ones used in mobbing and organized vigilante stalking. You can find these documents by going to Yahoo and typing subliminal harassment without the quotes. So let's move on here, folks. I actually clicked on some of the links that he provided, and some of the websites are compromised. Actually, one such website by a targeted person a references website. I clicked on it, and it was actually seized by my favorite Bureau of Investigation. Yeah. And what it basically was a website listing PDFs that you can download on this topic. So my favorite Bureau of Investigation seized the website. I guess they didn't want that information disseminated to the public. They don't want anybody to know what's going on behind closed doors. So anyway, homicide in the workplace is increasing. Over the last several years, there have been some high-profile cases of people going postal, quote unquote, and murdering coworkers. Research concludes that violence in the workplace can be a result of mobbing. But anyway, no, I would not participate. No, that doesn't work for me. And I'd probably say, this is what I'd probably say, could you please give me your business card and I'll think about it? And then I do some research online and never call them back again. That's what I would do. Now consider this scenario. You're at work tending to a project and your manager pulls you aside and tells you that Homeland Security officers would like to speak with you in the conference room. How would you react? I don't know. How would I react? I think, well, this is really bizarre. That's what I would think. Homeland Security? I would think it was really bizarre. What would your state of mind be as you headed toward the conference room? How would you feel if you walked into that room and saw two men in suits with a briefcase on the table? Oh my goodness, I saw them on Sutton Drive in Manalapan, New Jersey. They looked like two thugs. Oh my goodness. Most people would be so intimidated that they would assist. After you agree to participate, you are told under no circumstances are you to speak about the investigation. You may also be threatened with jail time, either verbally or through innuendo. That's why you don't deal with these creatures, folks. They show up at your door. They want you to help them. You say, okay, I'll think about it. Can you give me your business card? Goodbye. And then you don't talk to them again. Bye-bye. No, you don't participate in crime. That's what this is. It's organized crime with a badge or with a fake badge. Okay. So then after they've recruited you as an informant, these organizers can easily co-opt you into harassing someone. No, that doesn't work for me. They may give you acts to carry out or phrases to mention when you're in a targeted person's presence. I don't know, folks. I have better things to do, don't you? You may be told that these acts or phrases are designed to let the person know that they're being watched so that they don't follow you through, that they don't follow through with whatever crime they're being investigated for. Oh my goodness. I mean, really, people believe this stuff? I mean, this baffles the mind. It just baffles the mind that people go along with this stuff. These acts and phrases will be linked to information in their personal life that these perpetrators receive through surveillance. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like what? Oh, she cuts her grass. Yeah, she likes to cut her grass. So she likes to keep her grass cut. So then what the perpetrators do is they come and they spread some chemical on the grass to burn it out in three circular patterns. Sick people. They're very sick. These acts and phrases, coupled with all the other harassment that a targeted person is receiving, can be a form of covert torture. It has been said that the best way to conceal disinformation is to hide it within some truth. So these friends and family members may be giving helpful and truthful information as well in order to gain their trust. Friends and family members will probably not be told that every major area of your life is under attack and that you're receiving systemic harassment from many directions. People that cannot be easily lied to or intimidated can be blackmailed. Even law-abiding citizens can be profiled with an extensive background check for bad habits and weaknesses that they can be blackmailed for. Really? Oh, is that why the Manalapan Police Department calls me a cat lady? What, do you know how many cat ladies there are in the United States? Do you know how many people love cats? In fact, there are more cat owners than there are dog owners. Manalapan Police Department. I bet if we dug up some information about you, wow, we could create some real horror story novel on you guys. Like the time that I walked into the Manalapan Police Department at night to file a police report. And there were these two police officers there. You know, they were cute, you know, young, cute guys. And they're just doing absolutely nothing. But they've got their computer on. And on the computer screen, they're looking at, like, men. You know, like models, male models. Like handsome male models posing. And at first I thought, okay, they're just looking at these male models. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they would normally be looking at women, right? But I'm thinking, no, maybe they're gay and they're looking at great looking guys. So the police officer turns to me. He says, oh, let me change this screen. He said, we're really not supposed to be posting anything on our screen except like the emblem or whatever. So he switches it and you see, you know, the emblem of the Manalapan Police Department or whatever. And then I realized after the fact that they did that for me. They were trying to see how I would react to that. I thought it was absolutely absurd. But they were participating in gang stalking as I walk in to file a police report. Yeah. So family members who you have a shaky relationship with can be bribed if they're greedy or in financial ruin. Naive ones or youngsters can be lied to by appealing to their sense of patriotism. When gaining cooperation in this way, these friends and family members may be fed some truth, then some small damaging lies can be thrown in. And this is absolutely despicable. This is absolutely despicable. These tactics are designed to beat people into submission, isolate them, and remove support structures. I'm going to say that this is responsible for the downfall of society. It's responsible for the downfall of this once great country. In addition to the fact that a bunch of psychopaths are running it right now. And obviously running these programs. The involvement of acquaintances and families in these quote-unquote investigations may not just serve to harass, confuse, and isolate someone. I believe it also serves as a strategy to discredit a person. After all, acquaintances and family would never participate in the systemic harassment of a targeted person, so someone complaining of such an ordeal must be totally mentally ill. This is simply one more layer of discrediting built into this harassment program. And historical data shows that agencies would harass targets through a number of channels. Some documented psychological warfare tactics include false media stories, bogus leaflets and other publications, forged correspondence, anonymous letters and phone calls, tampering with mail and telephone. Oh yeah, that happens all the time. Disinformation campaigns and using people in a target's personal life, such as parents, children, spouses, landlords, etc., to generate pressure, also known as harassment. So I'm going to end here, folks, because this video is getting a little long, and I know that the longer the video, the less you'll be able to listen to it, the less time you'll have to listen to it. So I will be reading more about this, but I will post a link in the description section. This is Mark M. Rich, and it's an 82-page PDF that you can scroll through. And let me just scroll back up one second. 1 second. Okay, once again, it's state-sponsored terror campaigns, The Hidden Evil. This is dated May 5, 2006. So there is the introduction, the structure, people who participate, people who have been compromised, contractors, military, community policing, and other local organizations. Then it goes into the tactics. Why is it used? They use it for revenge, whistleblowers, activists, and dissidents, and experimentation, and then other reasons. And again, I don't know what the other reasons, we don't even know. Then it goes into the objectives, the symptoms a person may experience, results, and a profile of the people who participate. So anyway, please hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. This is a very serious topic, and I didn't even get into some of the tactics that they utilize, but this is just a foundation that, you know, people who are new to this topic and are looking for information can review. Of course, a lot of the people that are already here, you already know this stuff, but it's worth listening to, worth repeating. So I hope you're able to take the time to scroll through this document and lock onto the topics that interest you. Signing off for now.